Kansas men's basketball assistant coach Norm Roberts has officially retired, leaving a major hole along that Kansas bench. Norm was second in command to Bill Self. He took over coaching duties for Bill Self when he was having those heart issues. So this is big shoes to fill for the Kansas men's basketball program. And with this video, I kind of want to get into kind of the top three choices that I have for him. These are in no specific order. These are just three guys that I believe have a pretty good chance at filling those shoes that I think Kansas is looking at and should be looking at. So starting with Mike Boynton. Mike Boynton is a current assistant with the Michigan Wolverines. He was head coach for the OSU men's program for a long time, Oklahoma State, that is. And while he was with the Cowboys, he didn't do bad necessarily. It was more or less kind of a damage control situation. The Cowboys were out of sorts, still kind of are out of sorts after losing some pretty big stalwarts in their program, and Boynton just kind of had to play cleanup duty. Unfortunately, being a head coach in that situation, you're kind of going to get the short end of the stick, and that's exactly what Mike got. However, he's been pretty successful with the Michigan Wolverines, and with those Oklahoma State roots. Obviously, Bill Self has the same Oklahoma State roots, being a former player and assistant with the Cowboys. So, and he played Mike Boynton on a couple of occasions back when he was still coach with the Cowboys. So overall, this could be a good choice just based off of roots and based off of familiarity. However, I think there's one guy out of this group that I would like to see personally, and I'm going to get into that. But first, I want to talk about this next guy here. Okay, so this next guy, Darnell Jackson. Darnell Jackson, if you don't already know, was a player on that Kansas 2008 men's team that won the national title. Jackson is a current assistant with the Los Angeles Clippers G League organization. He has both G League experience in playing and G League experience in coaching. However, I don't see anything on his resume regarding any college experience, so that concerns me a little bit with him. He's expressed that he wants to come back to KU, though, and I think I've kind of figured out a way for him to do that should this next option occur, so bear with me here. That final option is Chase Buford. Chase Buford, another longtime player of Bill Self's, but he's also a longtime assistant of Bill Self, too. He's kind of one of those mid-level guys, not necessarily like inner circle type of guy like, Curtis Townsend or Norm Roberts for that matter, but still a valuable piece on the Kansas bench. I've heard nothing but good things about Buford. He is a player's type of coach, really focused on player development. That's what you see a lot when you see former players coming back to the program, just kind of, especially if it's the same regime. So obviously Buford played under Self and has some experience playing under Self, so he can give advice to players and recruits when they come play for Bill. And he's done just that. Bill has sang his praises before as well, and I think he could very well be that, number two option for Bill Self and be that Norm Roberts replacement. That being said, he's 36 years old. He's pretty young. You maybe want to go with someone with a little bit more high-level experience, so that's why the Boynton pick is in here. However, I can see it as Bill promoting Buford and then bringing in Darnell Jackson, who, again, has expressed interest in coming back to the KU program and, an assistant at the G League level. Maybe he wants to get his feet wet with college ranks. I've also heard, reports of maybe talking to Sharon Collins. There's a couple of other names that I've seen being thrown around, but these are kind of the top three that I've seen, and I really like that Buford to Jackson kind of double move there. That's my preferred option for the KU basketball program, but what's yours? Let me hear who you think will replace Norm Roberts. Leave your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you in the next video I make. Thanks.